Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for both the collective and the individual life path numbers for March 2022. As with all of these monthly videos, it's very important that you listen to the part for the collective because we are each a part of the collective. And that energy is what's really going to be potent during this time. And so it ties in with your individual life path number. That's why I don't put timestamps. This, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I have also just recently started offering one-to-one, face-to-face over Zoom life path coaching with numerology. If this is something that you're interested in, this is an opportunity for a 1-hour session where we dive in deeply into your numerology chart to discuss anything you want to discuss that you're currently facing or that may be coming up for the future for you. If that's something that you're interested in, just book some time with me. I would absolutely love to meet you face-to-face and to work with you in that way. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the energies for March. So March ushers in the universal cycle of the 9 energy. During this cycle, we can find that we're able to think more abstractly and not quite so rigidly when it comes to our belief systems and how we move through the world. 9 energy is that of the humanitarian. It's an energy that honors self while also bringing in service towards others. So by opening our minds and our hearts, we can begin to see things from a broader perspective where greater, more elevated solutions lie. Aligned 9 energy sets out to bring people together with an emphasis on equality and justice for all. It's an energy of no one being left behind because if someone is struggling, ultimately we're all struggling in some way. So where we can find ways to coexist while doing no harm, then we're able to be a part of the greater circle. If one is being pushed out from that circle, it creates a gap that in one way or another, we all end up feeling, especially energetically. So 9 energetic cycles help us to find ways to do our individual part for the greater good, for the collective, and to bridge the gap, which I think now more than ever, we could use this energy. So it's beautiful energy, especially for March, especially for this time in history. So definitely work with it the best that you can throughout the month and always, but it's very potent this month. This is also a completion cycle, so it can indicate attainment, things coming to fruition from past efforts, such as rewards, earnings, return of investments. This is going to be a situation where you've put in the effort previously and now you're seeing those things again coming to fruition or coming to closure, and it can be closure that's abrupt or it can be closure that you're just kind of tying up that bow really nicely and moving on to the next thing. It can also indicate things falling away so that new seeds can begin to grow, creating a greater foundation for your future cycles. Similar to when we sort of lose our baby teeth as children so that our adult teeth can come in, shedding what no longer works or no longer supports us for something that does. Though this isn't the best energy for sort of starting anything big or new, it's more of a time for setting the intentions and making the preparations for this cycle to begin, right? So this cycle can feel somewhat busier than normal with a lot of added responsibilities being added to your plate. You can see a tremendous amount of inspirations and ideas, psychic and intuitive downloads coming in for you now. Pay extra attention to your dreams at this time and any kind of, again, visions that you have, ideas, inspirations. Now, this isn't necessarily, like I said, this isn't the cycle where we would necessarily take action on those inspirations or those big ideas. Although, we have to go with what comes up for us. So if life dictates that you need to take action, then take action. Don't let this sort of prevent you from doing that. But this isn't the most supportive energy for big ideas taking root when we take action on them just yet. This is the time for the sort of the incubation period, the ideas coming in, sort of exploration of those ideas and those inspirations, and maybe planning and deciding how we want to take action on these ideas. And then in the months that follow, then taking those big risks, those big inspired action, right? So this is going to be a time again to really sink into the more ethereal, sink into the inspirations, the ideas, the dreams. The dreams are going to be coming in very vividly, very strongly for those of you that are especially sensitive to that. You could notice that, again, your intuitive powers are even stronger during this time. You could notice that, again, your psychic powers are much more profound at this time, much more vivid. So pay attention to that. A lot of times that can hold messages. So we just need to be open to it, take note of it, and then revisit it down the road if we need to. So this is not going to be a cycle where self-serving or overly self-indulgent endeavors be supported. Instead, broad compassion, kindness, understanding, and more evolved actions are the ones that will gain the most traction. Friendships and relationships of all kinds can prosper and grow during this time, especially those that hold a similar vision for the greater good. So pay attention to who enters your sphere at this time, your reality, your experience, or who re-enters your life now. They could play a key role in the journey ahead. So be open to who you meet and the messages that they hold and the wisdom that they've come to share. This could be very important for your journey forward. Be mindful not to sort of cling to or get overly attached to experiences, people, or emotions that have run their course and that need to be released. Replaying events or stories in your head only to beat yourself up with them aren't allowing you to move forward into a sort of greener pastures, right? We may need to sort of shovel the manure every now and then, but we certainly don't need to sit in it. So extract the wisdom, release the person, place, or thing with an open heart and with gratitude for their contribution, and move along. There's much more adventure to be had beyond the self-created gates that we often create for ourselves, right? Release that stagnant energy and look forward to the future with joy and high expectation for what awaits you around the next corner, for what you'll create from these big ideas, these big dreams, these big inspirations that could be coming in for you during this cycle. This is incredibly beautiful, ethereal, creative energy, and just a time again for exploration on the softer side of things. So definitely embrace it to the best of your ability. Again, the energy can be present. It's always what we choose to do with it that makes the difference. Okay, on to the life path number. Life path number 6. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got groundhog spirit. So there's some energy here coming in for March for you all that is asking you to release something. So groundhog's message is time to let go. And it feels like this is going to be something that you have some kind of emotional investment into, like some kind of, and potentially like monetary investment into as well. Time, energy, resources, whatever, but it's something that's run its course that needs to fall away. And this energy of groundhog is just asking you to honor that, to not cling to the things that are no longer for you, but to let them be released and to not fight that releasing. The more we try to fight something or cling to something or attach to something, the more it sort of moves away from us type thing. Because if something is meant for us, it's going to just naturally and organically find us. And when it's no longer meant for us, it's going to fall away. It's just cyclical, right? It's part of life. It's part of the journey. Everything on this planet is temporary. And the ego struggles with that. It wants to believe that everything is permanent and will stay forever and all of those things. But life just has too many moving parts. So there's some things that need to be released when their time is up. Our time with them, or whatever that is, has reached its expiration date. And so I do feel like there's going to be something coming in, or some things coming in for you this month where it needs to be laid to rest and you need to move on to the next thing. And I can definitely see this energy coming in very, very strongly mid-month. So I do think that that's where you're going to kind of see this come in the most. And you just need to remember Groundhog's message that things will naturally find us and things will naturally fall away. It's, again, cyclical. And so we just need to understand that when something comes in for us, it may or may not be with us for a while. We don't know, right? But we'll know when the time is to release it, and we need to do that graciously. So when I look at the energy ahead for you all, beginning of the month, there's some kind of, some kind of clarity coming in for you. And I do feel like this has to do with Groundhog's message. So it's almost like beginning of the month, you're getting very clear on what it is that's no longer working for you and needs to be released, or what you've been sort of clinging to try to make it work, but it's no longer working. And so you're coming to that realization. There's a lot of like self-awareness coming in at the beginning of the month. And I would say honor that, obviously, but it's almost like you almost can't unsee it, right? It's like the clarity comes in and it becomes very apparent where you need to take action, where you need to make some adjustments, where it is that you need to release something or someone. And I just think you're going to get a lot of clarity to where it's really not going to be negotiable at this point. It's something where it's an understanding, because when we move into mid-month, then we have this very potent energy of something ending, something coming to completion. And again, this coincides with the 9 universal energy that we're in at the moment, or for March, of completions, things coming to an end. It doesn't have to be like dramatic. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It can just, again, be like you tying up that nice bow. And like coming to completion and then on to the next thing. I do think that's going to be the case for a lot of you, because it feels almost like a creative project coming to a close. It could be a relationship coming to a close, but one that like ends amicably, where you both understand like the contract has ended and it's time to move on, and maybe you stay great friends. For some of you, this is definitely going to be about like a project coming to completion, and then you basically freeing up your time, energy, and resources to be able to start something much more vibrant and aligned and new and exciting. So whatever it is that's falling away, for the most part, right, is clearing a path for you to start something new, to start something much more aligned. It could also be that there's something falling away that you were not expecting to fall away. And there may be some like lessons and wisdom to learn, to extract and learn from that experience that you can use on your journey forward, right? And so if that's the case, then obviously, honor the experience and the grief and anything that you need to move through before you move into the next phase. But just be very open to releasing whatever needs to be released this month, and honoring whatever feelings and emotions come up around that releasing, but don't fight it, is really what I'm trying to say here. Don't try to follow whatever it is that's being released to wherever it's going. You're meant to go now in a different direction. So move into the direction that you're meant to move into. Don't try to hold on to something that's not yours anymore. And I think you're going to get clarity around what that is at the beginning of the month. But I would say you probably already have clarity on what this is. But it's going to become very apparent and very clear that this releasing is imminent, that it's going to happen type thing. So there's kind of no denying it. And then, mid-month, I also see an opportunity for looking towards the future and exploring new options, new ideas, new avenues, new things to do, new things to grow, new things to pursue. It's like you have this availability, this space, the time and the resources now to be able to do whatever this is. So I would say definitely entertain it and move towards that. And I think there will be some level of excitement in whatever this is, in pursuing whatever this is and exploring whatever this is. So allow yourself the opportunity to do that, right? End of the month, there's something coming in here around, like it could be inheritance for some of you. It could be coming into a significant amount of resources or money or something like that. There's something here about like longevity. It doesn't have to be about money. It could be about like you meeting some people that will be in your life for long term. Maybe you collaborating with people that, again, you're starting the collaboration now and it has the potential to move into long term. It could be about like getting a job offer or something like that that has the potential to create a tremendous amount of stability and, again, good fortune, and has the potential to have, again, longevity. There's just definitely something here about building a legacy or receiving somebody else's legacy in some way. So again, it's kind of like be really mindful of where you put your energy this month, especially at the end of the month, and what you commit to, what you say yes to, where you invest your energy, where you invest your time, money, and resources. Because I do think like wherever you put that energy, wherever you put that money, time, and resources, it's going to be something that potentially could be with you for quite some time. So good or bad, right? So you could make an investment at this time impulsively, and maybe it's not the best investment for you, which is fine. There's no right or wrong decisions. Like everything holds some kind of wisdom to extract from it. Everything is an opportunity for growth and learning. But I would just say be mindful of where you choose to put your energy, resources, and all of that. If you're being influenced to do it or manipulated to do it in some way, that could have some lasting effects that might be more uncomfortable than what you bargained for. So again, it's very, very important that you just be very mindful of where you choose to put your time, money, resources, energy, all of those things. Because again, if it's coming from somebody else's influence and you're doing it out of obligation, I just feel like it could really, there might be some buyer's remorse down the road with that. So just make sure you're coming from your own space of truth, integrity, all of those things when you're making this decision, whatever this is. If it's about, again, investing into something long-term, that's going to be really important. It could also be like if someone, let's say you're in a relationship and that person proposes to you, but this relationship has felt like it hasn't been right for quite some time, but you have those fears of like, I'm not going to meet anybody else, and like, I'm going to be alone forever if I don't stay with this person, or, whatever. And so you say yes to the person and then you get married. I just feel like there might be a little bit of buyer's remorse for that down the road, and that might affect your relationship significantly down the road because you're not entering into it from a space of your own truth. You see what I'm saying? You're doing it out of fear. So just be mindful of that. And if it's something that if the energy brings into light what's no longer working and where you're investing your time and energy into something that's really not going anywhere, or has the potential to hold you back, then this could be a time where you need to release that person, place, or thing so that you're no longer continuing to invest your energy into it. Okay? So I do think you've got some big clarity coming in, some big decisions to make this month as well. Definitely opportunities for releasing something coming in for you. But I do feel like for the most part, especially if it's something creative, something around resources or whatever, I do see like it ending and then quite quickly something new coming in that's much more aligned. So it doesn't really feel like this big gap period. If it's actually losing something that you care about, obviously there's going to be some time there that you need to allow for grief or for moving through those emotions, right? And then of course, again, end of month, just be aware of what you're saying yes to, I think is what it really comes down to. So I hope this was helpful, Sixes. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.